Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, June 26, 2020, and it's time for Take a Break with Drake. Weekdays at 7. We are welcoming some amazing guests to the show today. Drake is super excited. Can you just handle this, Drake?
No.
I don't know if you can. The intensity level is high on this Friday with America's Bible teacher, Dr. Drake Travis.
Yep, and today you're going to see what it's like when people embrace the Bible and live it in overdrive. We have the coolest guests, people I grew up with, and we've been friends since the 70s, and it's a full show. So without further ado, let's go straight to Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Straight to Hawaii. Here
Good
we
morning,
go.
Eric Dean, Angela Dean, everybody coming on. And here we go. Grab your surfboard.
Hey, welcome to
Hey!
We've got awesome guests here today. This is Drake. This is wifey Serena. But dear friends of ours we've known for since the 70s, Mitch and Sharon Milan of Kauai, Hawaii. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did. Aloha, guys.
Aloha.
Shakara.
Yeah. Oh boy.
How are you guys this morning?
We're doing great. Now, Mitch, before we go any farther, I got to ask you. Now, 8 days ago, we had a Dodger fan, big time Dodger fan on the show. Do you have any word to share with him?
I'm just gonna do some non-verbals for him. We love you.
Oh,
Aloha.
Can't we all just get along?
yeah. Can't we all just get along? Oh, big.
Can't we all just get a longboard?
So your word is
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to get to that shortly. But so your word is big hugs to the Dodger fans, right?
Absolutely. Hey, it's just America's #1 pastime, and we're gonna dominate if this season ever starts this year, right?
Yeah.
This is
no
our
kidding.
year.
But yeah, you guys met at children's camp. Did I hear that right?
A youth camp, a youth outreach at Iron Gate Lake
Iron Gate
in Northern California.
We're talking when people hear North California,
Well-
some people think anything between Fresno and Sacramento, but you're north of there.
North of Mount Shasta.
Oh,
Yeah.
And we didn't
California-Oregon border.
We didn't actually meet. I swooned over him. He was the camp hunk.
Oh.
He was the good-looking guy that was behind the water ski boat that every girl there was drooling over.
Oh.
But I did make friends with his brother, and that worked in my favor in the long run.
Okay.
Ah.
You met his brother first. Mr. Fabio with the giant guitar there. You met his brother first, right?
I did.
And then,
Well, I mean, I saw Mitch first. Of course, I wanted to meet Mitch, but that wasn't in the cards right there.
so didn't his brother say something to you about, because he found out you were a really committed Christian?
Yeah, that was kind of later on. Do you want to hear the story?
Yeah, let it fly.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about.
So anyway, so his brother and I spent a lot of time at that camp just telling our sad breakup stories. And a few years later, he ended up working in the little valley where I grew up, and he would stop in and we'd play tennis. So I'd always look forward to Matt's visits and the tennis game, and I would always talk about the Lord because I was so in love with the Lord. And he said, I don't really want to talk about the Lord, but my brother's really into that. Why don't you talk with him? So I got his phone number. And of course I would always call and say, "Hi, is Matt there?" And Mitch, of course, would answer the phone because I knew when Matt was gone. So I'll let you tell the rest of the story.
You ladies, you've got stuff figured out on that stuff. I mean, we kind of go into days. We kind of got a Thor caveman. Hey, pretty girl, come talk to me. But you ladies, it's like you're embroidering something constantly. So you had it worked.
Exactly. That reverse psychology.
He was somewhat resistant, though. He'd always like, "No, Matt's not here. Matt's not here. Well, how are you?"
So I thought I would take her out and just swoon her and go bowling with our youth group. I figured that's the quickest way to push away a young teenage girl that wants to go out with you. Let's go bowling. And
with the church.
I thought this will do it. All right, this will get rid of these phone calls now. And so I picked her up to go bowling, and it was pretty much love at first sight.
Oh, that's awesome. So you
Yeah.
so you guys met in '76, and then you're on driving dates in the late '70s. But Sharon, when did you say to yourself, I need to be a Christian. I got to do this Jesus thing. This is real.
Oh, I was probably in fifth grade, so I'd been a Christian for a while, and kind of had fallen away, I'd say my freshman, sophomore year in school, and wanted to recommit. I had gotten in a bad relationship prior to Mitch and wanted to recommit afterwards. So I was really hoping to find a Christian guy to share the Lord with. And that's kind of the space I was in when we started dating.
Well, and Mitch, I mean, your own brother's testimony, you're totally into Jesus. When did that start for you?
So it was, I'm going to give a shout out to Hume Lake. Woohoo! Hume Lake, 1972, July 72. I was young. It was at, I don't know if I was going to date me, 1972. It was 50 years ago. But it was the Conestoga Wagon Camp at Hume Lake. When the campsite at that point was all Conestoga wagons. So it was all real Western theme.
This sounds like, I'm pretty good at this history stuff. Sounds like summer 1972.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, yeah, it was
very moving, very, very moving, very moving time. Awesome speaker, and just gave my life, got the relationship with Christ.
Okay, now you
definitely.
I'm hearing about bowling. I'm hearing about tennis, water skiing. You guys are really into sports. Okay, list a few of your sport favorites.
Well, right now we're kind of into mountain biking. That's kind of the new passion, and surfing also.
Surfing and mountain biking.
And skiing, which we didn't get to do a lot of this summer because of the COVID. Those are some of our favorites.
Yeah.
Tennis, diving, rafting.
Those are your favorites.
Kayaking. Okay, all right, yeah.
We don't really do those
what a deal!
anymore.
So you guys married in 1983.
Yes.
Okay, 83. And then Mitch, you were in the Air Force right away. Did I hear that right?
Yep, that was it. 83 to 87. Served our country. I had my last job, a quick Air Force story. My last job for the Air Force was I got locked in a vault I had to sleep on basically the red phone. I had 2 boxes. If the phone rang, it was the end of the world. So basically I had to grab my boxes and take them to these B-52s that were loaded with the nukes that were going to end the world. And it was crazy. I mean, it was looking back on that, I think I was 22 years old, something like that. The phone would ring. A 22-year-old would grab these 2 boxes, drive out the flight line, go right to these B-52s, hand these devices. They were the launch codes or whatever to make the bombs go boom, right? And the planes would take off, and I would be waiting there on the flight line to be atomized when there was, the nuclear holocaust began. I mean, crazy. I mean, looking back on it, it was like, God, wow.
Well, we're not atomized. We're still here, so we're not really happy.
Well, Mitch, when you were in the Air Force, of course, you've always had Fabio hair, but when you're in the Air Force, you had it pulled back into a ponytail. Was that how it worked?
You had to wear it under the hat. It was just something I had to hide for years. I was all AFR 35-10.
I married this really good-looking guy, and then he went off to basic training, and he sent me photos where they'd shaved his head, and I remember just crying, like, what happened to my handsome guy?
Oh, well.
So he compensated and gave back extra for me now.
Yeah.
Well,
it's the heart. It's the heart.
Well, you said, now Sharon.
Not the hair.
You were telling me about that. It hasn't been all surfing and la-las and lays and flowers and fresh mangoes and fun and all. You guys had some of your trials. You said you're in childbirth. You guys were struggling in LA or something, or what was? Fill in the blanks.
We had a lot. We had a lot of struggles at the beginning of our
Share
marriage.
your
We had
favorite struggles.
what?
Share your favorite struggles.
My favorite struggles. I don't know. We just had a rough start. We had like a pretty good first year of our marriage, and then I don't think we were very grown up because we were 20. So
Or 15.
and you have all that I gotta prove myself kind of stuff. So trying to figure out who we were and what we were gonna do, and I didn't have my school finished, and that was super important to me. We didn't know what we wanted to do, so we had a lot of struggles around that.
Yeah, I would say absolute roller coaster ride first. Well, I don't know. Marriage is a roller coaster ride, and I would say with Christ as the center of it, it's a roller coaster ride that doesn't have even the rollers in it. It's out of control. But whenever we got absolutely knocked down and not a good moment, it always seemed like God blessed us with this moment of clarity that, wait a second, this is supposed to be a blessing. This is supposed to be my ultimate blessing to you, to have a wife to love and, to be able to back each other up and keep each other warm and, that kind of stuff. And it always seemed like, it came out of it, that we found humility instead of arrogance.
Well, I would say there's a lot of God in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me tell you a story. So when I graduated with my master's degree in communication from San Francisco State, super competitive, want to go get that job. All your colleagues are bragging about this, and everyone's looking for their first career.
Graduate student of the year.
Woo.
Yeah.
Anyway, I decided I wanted to take the job down in Bakersfield, California, and Mitch was like, I don't want to go to Bakersfield. If you take that job, I'm leaving you. And I'm like, well, I don't care.
Wow,
I got this degree.
Not the support you were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We went down
exactly.
there in March to interview, and everyone was at the lake, and the weather was perfect, and it was beautiful. And I arrived on my first day at the job in mid-August by myself. It
3
was
months later.
100 degrees with the smell and taste of oil in the air. It was horrific. But anyway, I ended up getting a disease called valley fever, which is basically a spore that grows in the dirt only in Bakersfield area. And of course, I didn't tell them I was pregnant because that might jeopardize me getting the job. So I was just starting to show as I went down there. But I ended up getting valley fever and almost dying and almost losing my baby, Alex.
Wow.
So he was 2 months premature, and I was in the hospital on basically my deathbed, because I knew I was disobeying God. I knew God didn't want me to go. I knew Mitch didn't want me to go, but I was very independent and strong. And by the time that whole thing was over, I was like, God, if you let me live, I'm going to rededicate my life to you. I will do whatever you want.
Oh my
And
Lord.
he so blessed us after that, after I laid my career down, which was really hard for me. And I gave it up. He gave it back to me part-time for a while, and now he's given me a beautiful full-time tenure-track job years later over here in Kauai.
But at the right season.
At the right season.
Yeah.
But I had to lay it down first. I had to, and he blessed us immensely with a very successful business right after that. Do you want to add?
Sharon, I want to continue that, but I'm seeing a picture as you talk. And would you say that stint near Southern California was like your Jonah session, where you well, I shouldn't go here, but I'm going?
Yep.
Really? Okay, so
Definitely.
I'm just fishing to connect
Jonah
here.
leading, I'm not going to Nineveh.
Wow. So then Alex's arrival, your boy, and by the way, their boy Alex, he should be an Abercrombie model.
All their kids are good looking.
Yeah, these guys are beautiful kids. They really do. You almost lost Alex as a baby.
I did.
He was born like 1 pound, 1 pound 12 ounces.
Whoa.
He looked like Mr. Magoo, like a deflated Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, you can imagine that.
Well,
I mean,
he
that's
inflated well.
exactly what he
That's,
did.
thank the Lord.
Yeah, no, he's 180 pounds now.
You know, I don't think we realize when we say no to God and we rebel, how many other people it affects. You know, I think it's affected Alex his whole life. I think it definitely affected Mitch. He had to give up a lot. He gave up his path that he was on to become a teacher himself. He ended up taking extra jobs. My parents gave up their life and came and lived with us for 3 months. You know, really, I hear stories of people who, you know, are in their rebellious state, and it's always, there's a lot of fallout. There's a lot of other people that get impacted.
Collateral damage.
Well, I thank you, Sharon, for being vulnerable and sharing that
pretty
story.
touching.
That's I'm sobering, but beautiful in the sense that God worked good out of it. But you're right. I think people do kind of forget that the ripple effect of rebellion.
And you know that song, "It's my life, I'll do what I want. It's my life, I'll do what I want."
Is that Bon Jovi?
No, it's not your life. It's not yours. You don't belong to you. You belong to everybody that's kept you alive. And I look back, and there are easily, I can list, you give me 4 minutes, and I could list 120 people that have brought me back from the brink, steered me back away from the cliff, got me out of the depths when I was ready to drown myself. I've almost drowned myself 3 times. I so get into life. I so floor it. I go down so
Actually,
deep.
I remember that. I remember when you and Serena came and visited us and almost drowned yourselves.
Literally.
But I don't think that one was on
we were out there.
Guilty.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Let's get to that. Mitch, were you gonna add something else about almost losing Sharon? Were you gonna add something else, because I did cut in?
Oh, I don't know. I was there. Yeah. It definitely affected us. But again, like what I was saying, where you get that lapse of humility afterwards, where if you have a humble heart, God opens your eyes, and it's just like, hey, you got to roll with this. You got to trust me. You got to trust my plan. I'm going to direct your footprints. I'm going to direct your steps. We can have incredible plans, but God is directing the show. You know, whether you want to look at Valley Fever or ... We're a carnage story. You know, our 37 years together is an absolute miracle and a story of love. But when you kind of pick up the veil, there's a lot of carnage in there. There's an awful lot of opportunity to go the other direction and to succumb to the world, which, I mean, like we all know, the world's in our face 24/7, trying to draw us away from the prize.
What precipitated the? Did you wake up one day? Was it slow? We're going to move to Tahoe. We're going to move to Oregon. We're going to move to Hawaii. How'd you go from California to say we're moving to Hawaii? Let's go. What was that? How did that happen?
Let me start and then I'll let you. Well,
Okay.
we left, you know, when we came back from Bakersfield, we had just a run of incredible life. We started a business, we're highly successful, took our kids camping, had all kinds of fun. There was nothing wrong with life in California. We were working all the time. We were both very successful. Mitch, tell them about, you know, that run. And then we left, we walked away in the height of success. We felt the success not working for us.
Yeah.
So we just left it. But go ahead.
Well, I think what brought us to Kauai was I think our downtime for our business was late January through early March. That was
The
time that
rainy
we can
season.
get away. We could get away, and so we kind of forced ourselves. We take the kids out of school and go travel somewhere. Just rent a house, and basically that led us to Kauai, the North Shore, and came over to surf and just have absolute family time with the kids and just focus. Because the rest of the year, I was guilty of working. If there's 168 hours in a week, I was guilty of working about 130 of them.
Wow.
I mean, no doubt. And basically 7 days a week. And that's a blessing and a curse. I would say maybe, I don't know, if you, I would have to say it's a blessing that my eyes were really open to it. And it was like, let's figure out another way to do this. So we came over here just for quiet time and just to be a family. And while I was over here, our CPA was saying, hey, you need to do something tax-wise. You need investment. You need to make an investment. You're going to be giving all this money to the government unless you find a way to invest it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, I'll do a fixer-upper here. So I looked around and we ended up in Kekaha, and I was like, found a little cottage, and I thought, what a great opportunity. I mean, I think Chris was, our youngest was maybe 7 or 8 at that point. And I thought, how cool. I'll bring a kid with me. We'll paint a house. We'll put windows in it. We'll do a little fixer-upper. And so I brought all the kids over one at a time, and we fixed up this little house. And what I found, the more time that we spent here, the more it just really slowed us down. It was a really, really good pace for us compared to California, 130 hours a week. And it just led to things, where we became more involved here. And then we started praying about it. And I really felt like God said, go, we'll use you in a great way. And so when we finally picked up and moved this way, we had all sorts of youth outreaches and barbecues on the beach, and camping trips up into the canyon, and sleepovers out on the beach, and bonfires.
I remember taking one of the local kids up to the canyon, which is kind of a really big tourist spot. And he said, I've never been here before. And we're like, you live 10 minutes away. You've never seen this canyon?
A local
that
kid?
was pretty cool.
A local kid has never been up the Waimea Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had experiences like that.
Multiple.
Wow.
And it was like, wow, this is really cool, to be able to do that. And we had a lot of experiences up in the Sierras. We were really into backpacking with the kids when they were younger, and rock climbing. So we did a lot of backcountry stuff. And this was just adventures in our backyard. I mean, to have a unbelievable canyon, 10 minutes from your home, it would be like living at the gate in Yosemite, I mean, that exciting. And waterfalls and swimming holes, and I mean, kind of the Etna experience, right?
Yeah.
That
Sure.
Way north California.
Yeah.
Well, you moved to Kauai in 2005. 2005?
Yes.
You found a church there. You said that finding a church that worked for you in Southern Cal was kind of rough, but you found a church on Kauai, right? That works for you?
Yeah, we started going to Rick Bunshue's church, the Kauai Christian Fellowship in Poipu.
I've heard Rick Bunshue before. People have heard Rick Bunshue's name. Where have they heard his name?
He wrote Pass Through Fire. I would say he wrote Bethany Hamilton's book, or co-wrote, I guess, helped write, Soul Surfer.
The girl with the shark bite shoulder?
Yeah, this surfer. Mm-hmm. And to give a plug out to her new movie, Unstoppable, is
a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
If you want to see, it's crazy good.
Of it, or how did you see it?
They played it at the local theater here.
Oh, cool.
And incredible, absolutely incredible. I think if anyone is asking, what is God's purpose in my life? I'm not seeing a purpose. Go see that movie, because it's I don't want to use the word handicap, because she is beyond awesome. She's beyond a superhero. I mean, she's an incredible surfer.
Hamilton.
Yeah, actually, watching the movie, you can kind of give a plug to her husband for being the superhero, for
absolutely
supporting
Adam
her and
Adam
all of
is
that stuff. it's amazing. You know, I know she gets the spotlight, so I'm just going to give a shout out to him, because as I watched the movie, I thought about how much is he pouring into her.
Yeah. I mean, I think what you walk away from is their relationship is this team. Marriage is a team that, you know, we take our best strengths, even if we don't realize they're a personal strength, our spouse helps fortify them. God uses our spouses to really create the blessing.
So Mitch, you know,
it's like Wonder Twin powers activate.
Absolutely.
That's a perfect saying. I love it.
Mitch, you know Bethany's husband?
Yeah. No, they come up camping, so they park in the background or in our backyard. They park their trucks and stuff once a year. They bring the boys up and stuff. But Adam's a very, very solid, very, very solid man. When you watch the movie, you really see the servant's heart. You know, the sense of this is. I mean, they get it. They get the picture. I mean, and the movie really brings it out that Bethany's example is touching millions of people around the world, and a real subtle message, you know, that just brings back, you know, in the Bible where Jesus said, "My yoke is easy, my yoke is light." I'm going to work my way into your life where you're not even going to feel it.
Wow,
But you're going to see it. You're going to see the fruit.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
Yay.
I want to see
Yeah,
that.
it's
So
powerful.
you play ukulele.
To jump
Hey,
to
I
a different
have.
topic.
Whoa, I have one.
Now, folks, if, ukulele requires two hands. You almost lost a hand last year, Mitch. How was that? I looked that up online. It freaked me out.
Was that last year?
2017.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
You're out surfing. Take a minute or so. Walk us through what happened.
The quick story or the dramatic version?
We got about 4 minutes
Basically,
to go.
I'm out surfing. There's certain rules in surfing, and some of the rules are don't surf in muddy water, don't surf after dark. You know, certain rules that you really need to abide by, or else there's a consequence you could pay. And I've been breaking all of those rules regularly. Surfing in muddy water, surfing after dark, and I was surfing large waves with a friend way outside, like 300-400 yards outside, half a mile, almost a mile out, and I got bit by a 14-foot tiger shark. It came up and basically lifted me right out of the water, just jaws and everything, just pectoral fin hooked on my thigh, and just like right over backwards, grabbed the board, went underwater with the board, and I mean, not a fun experience.
I'm having a heart attack.
Just breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe.
I've had an 8-foot mako shark corner me in a cove in the Bahamas. 14-foot
He's got
tiger
a shark
shark.
that corners him every night.
Yeah, it was.
That sounds terrifying.
Now you play ukulele and he bites your hand off. You're kind of like wrapping up your ukulele career.
Yeah, or learn to play left-handed or right-handed. Yeah, left-handed. I can play like this.
So this made international news that you got attacked by a shark. But you're blessing people with your ukulele still.
Yeah, and I also think that whole experience was you bless people through that experience to say, you know, when people come up to you and say, "Oh man, you're so lucky. You're so lucky." I don't know how many news people. "Oh, Mitch, you are so lucky. You're so lucky." I'm like, "Man, God spared me. You know, I was blessed. I was blessed." A lot of people don't survive it. And to be able to come through it and to still be able to play music and bless people with music is, hey, that's a gift. That's like from God.
There's a piece of your body in a shark's mouth. What was your prayer?
Say that again.
While there was a piece of your body in a shark's mouth, what was your prayer?
God, let me live. Please let me live.
Please let me live.
Yeah. I think the other part of this story was if this is it, make it quick. Please. I'm not opposed to coming in up to the pearly gates today, but if it's going to be that way, please help it to be quick. And when the shark 180 down underneath me, there's that moment where you're like, uh-oh. I mean, it's big, 14 feet, the size of basically a Volkswagen Beetle. It's a big animal. I mean, it's, huge. And I mean, you can be just shredded in seconds by these things. I mean, they're apex predators. So it's basically, God, please save me, get me to shore, and everything came online. Just bing, big closeout wave came through, grabbed the board, even though it had a big old bite mark taken out of it. Wave closed out, shot me to shore, and the wound on my hand, though bleeding profusely, was non-life threatening.
And the guy that helped him come in, that he was surfing with, his good buddy Gary, was an EMT in the past.
That probably helped.
So, and he had a shark band on. So we think that maybe because Gary's paddled over to Mitch with the shark band on, maybe it made the shark go away.
Oh yeah.
So we all wear shark band on.
Wow.
So
where are you playing?
But believe it or not, he still surfs.
At that spot, even.
At the same spot.
Yeah.
Not after dark, though.
That's right. Not at night.
You're an animal, Mitch.
Wow.
You're an animal.
Wow.
Yeah. Pro skier. You skied with Olympic skiers. You surf with the best. Bethany, you ski with the best. Your wife is the best. You guys.
Also,
we have the best friends.
Yeah, we have the best friends.
Okay, you make me want to come out and enjoy your mango orchard again.
Yeah, we gotta get back to doing singing some songs.
Yeah, our guest.
Mangoes are just starting.
Our guest from 2 days ago wants to have a Hawaii getaway for their 40th, and they really need some R&R really bad. But hey, where do you play? Well, when this virus ends, you're going to resume playing.
But he's playing.
Where?
He's playing live now on Facebook.
Yeah.
You're going to resume playing where?
Okay, for the last.
My gift to COVID.
He's done this every day for.
This is almost 100 days now. It's pretty close. It's like 3.5 months, something like that. Just get up and I find a song with the words love in it. That's it. That's my prerequisite.
If you have happy songs, send us ideas.
We take requests.
Oh, that's good. So the song Bad Medicine has the word love in it, so we should sing that.
No, we can't do that one here.
Really? Oh, I'm going to have to look at the lyrics sheet. Thanks,
Sharon, can you read us a verse in the Hawaiian Bible while he's doing an intro, and then just give us a little number as we close today?
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Okay, this is from the
Hawaiian Pidgin Bible.
Yeah.
You should say it, John.
He wants you to play while I do this.
Ready? Okay.
So this is from John 3:16. God would get so plenty love and aloha for the people inside the world that he would send his only one boy so that everybody that turns to me get cut off from God. But God, the real kind life, that stayed to the max forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Pidgin Bible, John 3:16. That's great.
I love it.
Okay, well, like the Lawrence Welk Show, we're going to close with a number.
Okay, this song doesn't have the word love, but we're going to add the word love to it, all right?
We're bouncing around already.
To a little grass shack that I love in Kealakekau, Hawaii. I want to be with all the carnies and wahinis that I used to know.
So long ago.
I can hear the old guitars playing on the beach and hold on now.
I can hear the old Hawaiian saying,
the komo mai no kaua I kahale wala kahao. It won't be long till my ship will be sailing back to Kona. That I love. Our grand old place, always fair to see. I'm just a little Hawaiian and a homesick island boy. I wanna get back to my fishing boy. I wanna go back to my little grass shack, Kealikakula, Hawaii. Where the huma huma nuka nuku apua us go swimming by. Come on, Drake, Serena, you gotta use. That's our state fish.
Oh,
where the huma huma nuka nuku apua us go swimming by. One more time. Where the huma huma nuka nuku apua us go swimming by.
They're beautiful fish. Very colorful.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, folks, that is Mitch and Sharon Milan, shining bright stars in the island of Kauai, in Hawaii. Such a blessing they are to the kingdom, to the Lord, to the Savior, to their neighbors, to their families, to their friends. And Lord, we just pause and give you thanks for people like this. Until next time, be well, be safe, be in prayer, and be in the Holy Spirit.
Mahalo and aloha.
Aloha, guys.
And don't forget to take a break with Drake.